I'm talking about.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. And he played the hell out of us, you know, before anybody else had even heard the band in the rest of the States, really. So it was a big surprise to us the first time we went to San Antonio, and we got the reception we did. You know, we couldn't believe it. And it sort of stayed that way over the years. You know, we've always been very popular in San Antonio, and we'd be really grateful for you guys, you know, for holding on to us for all of these years. It's been a long journey, you know, and we're just pleased to still be able to come out and play to you guys, you know, and give you, hopefully, you know, a couple of hours of entertainment.
Oh, you always do. And can you go into a little more detail as far as the early days for those of us who weren't in San Antonio in the 80s? What was it like, your first meeting with Joe Anthony, and just like when you first got word that, hey, our music is being played in the United States, in Texas? How did this start? Do you remember the first songs that were played by our DJs here in town?
I can't remember that far back, no. That's lost in the mist of time. But Joe Anthony was a larger-than-life figure. He was exactly the opposite to what you thought a radio DJ would be. He was just like a normal, big, happy, sort of family guy, you know. Italian descent, you know, Joe Anthony, of course. He ran an Italian restaurant as well, which we frequented many times. I got a lot of free food out of him, you know. But we loved old Joe, you know, and it really was a sad loss when he passed. He really hit us, you know, because he did a great deal, really, to break in the band, at least in Texas, you know, if not, because of things, you know, get known, you know, word of mouth and whatever. So, you know, he did a lot to help the band out in those early years, you know, and he stayed a true friend with us right to the end, you know. And we're just so lucky that he sort of picked up on us, you know. We really are.
Yeah. Now, I know you guys are obviously 2022 is the 40th anniversary of Screaming for Vengeance. I'm not one of those people that likes to look at set lists beforehand, so I have no idea what's going on as far as what you guys are playing, and I don't want to know. I know a lot of people want it like that on the internet these days. I like not knowing.
Hello.
My Christmas gifts until I open them, so to speak. The edition of Screaming for Vengeance has a bonus track on there where it has 5 live tracks, and 4 of them are from the 1982 tour here in San Antonio. I believe it was at the convention center. Were you aware of that? Do you remember that show in particular going 40 years back?
We played the convention center a couple of times, I believe. Yeah, it was a great gig. We have great memories of that place. One instance, the bus broke down. We're talking the 80s here, in the days before internet and mobile phones. In the middle of the desert, the bus just broke down and gave up. And that's a long story. I'll try and keep it short. The tour manager goes off into the desert. That's probably the last we'll ever see of him. Anyway, he comes back in a helicopter, and he'd managed to rent a helicopter to get us in. You know, it was a Sunday, and wow. You know. Long story short, the helicopter broke down. They had to get another helicopter in to bring the part that they needed, a larger helicopter. In the meantime, wow. A wrecker truck for the police helicopter. There's this big event going on at the side of the freeway. The net result, we actually got there in, you know, just in man, we got straight off the helicopter, straight into a couple of taxis that were waiting, straight to the show, and walked straight onto the stage. Basically, you know, that was a great memory, and what we'll never forget that one. But San Antonio, anyway, we love San Antonio. Not just for the music side of things. I mean, it's a beautiful city anyway, you know. When we first had the, you know, the river walk there, I mean, we were not with that, you know. What a tremendous place to be, and we sort of specify a hotel at least close to that, so we can get down there, you know, and partake of the restaurants and bars and whatever. It's a great place. We love San Antonio.
So the 2 dates start a week from today, and then Ian, have you guys discussed, will you be playing the exact set both nights, or will you mix it up?
It'll probably be the same. We'll see. We've got a couple of alternatives, but once we get up and running, we get cruising. We like to try and keep things at least very similar for ourselves, but for the crew and everybody else. And people will come to the show as well, expecting that set as well. So we like to keep things on, pretty similar all the way through.
Sure. Now let's get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that. Of course, every metalhead, I think it would be safe to say that agrees that it's long overdue for Judas Priest to get this recognition finally. It only took 50 years, but hey, better late than never. What was the ceremony like for you? And of course, the world wants to know, what was it like for you to reunite with not only KK, but Les Binks as well?
The whole thing was magical. I mean, it was way different to what I thought it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be such a large event for a start, with loads of people with paying public, if you know what I mean, not just the stars and the celebrities down at the tables in the front there, So that was a real big surprise, the actual scale of it all. And it was a joy to do at the end of the day, it was great to see Ken again. I hope he feels the same. It was very, very quick. We saw him for an hour or so on rehearsal day, and then another hour or so on the show day, and then everybody went their separate ways. But it was nice to see Ken and Les. I mean, Les, I hadn't seen Les, since 1980, probably 1979, 1980. It was good to see him again, and good to shake everybody's hand.
And that's what I was going to say, Ian, because obviously with the internet, the fans a couple of days later saw the performance footage. But what I was immediately struck by was, what was it like with you guys when you first saw each other at rehearsal? Was it, because obviously when you're on stage, everybody's seeing that for the first time and go, wow, this is the first time KK and Les are performing with these guys. But of course, for you individually and for the band, I'm sure there were handshakes or hugs or maybe a little awkwardness when you first saw each other at the ceremony for rehearsal before even going on stage. Can you expand on that? Was there hugs or handshakes? Was it, hey, good to see you? Was it awkwardness?
I went over and said hello to Ken, said hello to Les. That's about as far as it went, really. So did Rob. Glenn was rather frail on the day, so he just sort of sat on the sidelines until he had to do his thing, and of course Richie Gregarious is on the same side of the stage anyway, so he was talking to Ken a lot. But yeah, it was all very professional. It was all well done at the end of the day. We put on a great performance, and when we all got the gong, which is great news.
And of course, I got a kick out of Rob going up there, and his very first words he said were, "I'm the gay guy in the band," which really let so many laughs and emotions in the audience. And for me, I think I saw that footage at like 9 a.m. when I'm very sleepy and I don't even want people talking to me. And when I saw that clip, I burst out laughing at 9 a.m, which is very rare for me. And of course, Rob's performance with Dolly Parton for Jolene, that was very unique as well.
Yeah, that's a nice surprise. I don't think any of us expected that, until Dolly sort of, requested everybody come up and do a part of the show. It was great. Mm-hmm. Dolly's a classy lady, Dolly Parton. I mean, there was a time there where she almost turned it down. She said, "Well, I'm all in some
right
in the Music Hall of Fame, and that's where I belong," sort of thing. Yeah. But Laura class, and she did it eventually under duress, and she did a rock song. She wrote a rock song, and she put on a great performance, and then the grand finale with everybody getting up and doing the piece. It was spectacular.
Now, Ian, I'm sure you've been asked this multiple times over the years, but there may be some people at the San Antonio shows next week, perhaps, who have never seen Judas Priest before. And they may be struck by the fact that you are very comfortable on stage in one particular spot. You come out on the stage and you're staying in that spot for 2.5 hours, whatever the case may be. Why has that always been your style? What made you comfortable to not moving around on stage?
Oh, well, you've got 3 great frontmen, that's the main thing. But in the early days, I had to stand by my amplifiers to get heard because you got Glenn standing there. As soon as you walked away, you just got him. So I had to stay at the back, and so I could hear myself. And on many occasions, I had to watch the drummer's left foot on the hi hat to keep time. It was that chaotic on stage in the early days. And, I just stood there, and I was perfectly happy there. I put my performance in one place instead of moving around different places and doing it. I just do it on the one spot. There's also a bass pedal that I'm occasionally playing as well. That sort of ties it to one spot too.
Sure, very good. Do you have, after all these years, do you have a favorite song or two, whether it's a hit or a deep cut, to perform live with Priest, something that you never get tired of performing?
I'll tell you what, we've just started to perform Screaming for Vengeance again after all these years. And I'd forgotten what an song that was,
I think I froze a bit there.
That's my favourite song in the set at the moment, Other songs, Electric Eye, and you can never get tired of that. It's such a great song, the perfect opener. So those are the two I'm really enjoying the most at the moment, I think.
Your footage froze a bit when you answered the first one. I heard Electric Eye. What was the other one?
Screaming for Vengeance.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, the title track from the album.
Okay, so I said I don't want to be spoiled by surprises, but I will ask: are you playing both of those on this tour?
Two of them for you, right?
Yes. Awesome. Okay, great. Awesome. And I got to ask you, Ian, about the health scare that Richie had. It's hard to believe it's already been, I think, a year when he had that heart surgery last year. Obviously, in addition to worrying about his health and his life at that point, because I believe it happened at the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, if I'm not mistaken, on stage.
That's right.
Were you worried about the band's future at that point, in addition to, while he was in the hospital, just what was going to carry on for the band at that point?
I think everything became secondary to the welfare of Richie at that point, whether the band continued or not, it didn't even come up. But we were just so concerned. I mean, we didn't know. He was ill on stage. He came. We all noticed that there's something wrong, and I ran back after the end of the show, and he'd already got the great thing about festivals. There's always paramedics there at a festival, and so the paramedics were already there, and they got oxygen mask on him. And then he said, "Oh, I'm feeling all right now," and he came back to the dressing room, got changed, and the paramedics said that you better go to hospital and get checked out. There's something definitely wrong. And after a while, he said, "I think I'm all right," because we were flying on that night. We were getting on a plane and flying to Denver, and he was going home because his wife was there. He only lives in Nashville, which is 100 miles whatever away, and he was going to go night with his family and then fly out the next day. So we were getting ready to go in the car, and the tour manager says, "You're going to the hospital," okay, and forced him to do so, and stayed there and watched him get in the ambulance, sort of thing. And off he went. We drove off to the airport. See you later, we'll see you tomorrow in Denver. And of course, we take off, and when we land, everybody's phone sort of lit up. And then we found out what had happened, for Jesus Christ. The luckiest man, I mean, there's no good place or good time to have heart trouble, but he was in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. There was a dedicated heart hospital 4 miles away, and they rushed straight there, and the surgeon was there. All those stars lit up for him. And they all aligned, and very, very lucky, and he's made a miraculous recovery. He really, really has, and he's back to normal now. He's back on top of his game, for which we're all very grateful.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear.
Maybe not. It might have been that that death blow to the band as well. We started, and so yeah, we got a lot to be thankful for that he pulled through.
Awesome. Well, Ian, before I let you go, can you give me a quick album update? A new album. It's been 4 years since Firepower. How's the new recording coming along?
It's very much done, the music part of it. We've got vocals to do, which can take a while because it tends to change as it goes on. Maybe a little bit of touching up here and there, a bit of production pieces and what have you. But other than that, it's pretty much done, So when we can get around to doing that, I mean, this tour is going to take right up till Christmas, and we'll let the dust settle a little bit.
Will you be unveiling any new songs at the shows next week?
Sorry?
Will you be unveiling any new tunes at the shows next week?
No, it's too early for that. It's too early for that yet. But yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of it being done. Like I say, mainly vocals to do, and a bit of fairy dust on top. We're ready to go.
Well, awesome. Ian, thank you so much. I know you have a full day of interviews to do. Thank you for going into the pit with me here for Alamo True Metal, the great Ian Hill of Judas Priest. This is our third time interviewing over the years, but first time in person. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the photo pit 7 and 8 days from now. Tickets are available on my site, Judas Priest with Queensryche, Tuesday, November 22nd and Wednesday, November 23rd at the Techport Center in Arita. Go get tickets at alamotruemetal.com. Just click on the concert listings. Ian, anything else you want to say to the San Antonio fans one more time?
Yeah, we're just looking forward to getting there and getting up on the boards and performing for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you again. Best of luck with everything. Congratulations on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thank you for all the fantastic music over the last 5 decades and more to come, hopefully. Thank you so much, Ian. Take care.
Well, that I can say it's a pleasure. And you too. Be safe, Jay.
Thank you, Ian. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.